Hi, I'm Adishan Ayanlar, and welcome to Next Tech, where I take a deep dive into what's next in tech. I'm going to show you a technology that you probably heard of, but had no idea that you were already a part of it. So come with me as I take a look at the endless possibilities that this technology has to offer and the risks and concerns that come with any new breakthrough. Chances are that if you've ever walked in a crowded area in a major city like Ankara, where we are now, you have been recorded by closed-circuit television. Now, those images, including your face, are then uploaded to a facial recognition system. The technology to track my face, like what's happening now, is actually pretty old. It dates back to at least the 1960s, but what's different about today's technology is the explosion of high-definition cameras. Plus, today's computing power and the vast cloud networks has made facial recognition technology even more valuable. Everything from law enforcement, safety at the workplace, to targeted advertising, our faces are becoming a treasure trove of information. American computer scientist Woody Bledsaw is often credited with pioneering the technology around facial recognition. In the 1960s, he set out to teach a computer how to recognize different faces by comparing the distances between features.
Turn on the Vetscope, Robin. Let's see what's on the Gotham City TV news report.
And it was around the same time that an early version began making its way into entertainment. In the original television series Batman, the superhero uses one of his gadgets to identify a villain's hidden identity. The technology has come a long way since the Gotham City Crime Fighters version, but I dare say the same thing about my vehicle. It certainly isn't the Batmobile. It is looking like a runaway technology, and in the not-too-distant future, facial recognition software could be changing our lives. So let's say I'm driving along like this and I decide that I need to use my telephone. The software will detect it and create an alert. Or maybe I don't have my seatbelt on. Another warning. How about if I really decide that I want to distract myself and I take a bite out of this burger while I'm driving? The possibilities are endless when it comes to public safety and enforcing standards, whether in your workplace or right here in your vehicle. Okay, maybe eating while driving might be an extreme example, but in the United States, more than 50,000 car crashes occur every year as a result of distraction-related incidents. To get a better sense of where this technology is going, I'm headed to a startup in Ankara that's looking to tap into the business potential when it comes to facial recognition systems. Tractus Technologies is a Turkish company that is based at the Middle East Technical University's Technology Campus.
Güzel bir ofisiniz var burada.
Teşekkür ederiz burası.
Akansen Akyol is a data scientist with the company, and he's going to show me how they've developed their software.
This is really weird. I have a box around my face. Tell me all about this.
Bu yüz tanıma teknolojisi.
This is face recognition technology. We train the features that we extract from many faces through deep learning techniques. Then, when we encounter a face that comes from the system, we can make a mutual check and report that this person is that, or this person has these characteristics.
One of the things that makes Tractus Technologies unique is that it's taking its in-house developed facial recognition software and merging it with consumer products. What do I mean exactly? To show you, I went over to a local convenience store to see how it works. I head over to the back of the store where the refreshments are located, and once I pick up the product that I want to purchase, I head over to the counter. This tracking technology will see what I'm buying, and by putting that data through an AI system, I could be shown promotions and recommendations in real time. Good choice. To get a deeper understanding of how far this technology has come and where it is headed, I faced off with Daniel Castro, who's the director at the Information Technology and Innovation Foundation.
Facial recognition technology has really taken off. It's useful both for identifying customers, helping do biometric authentication to make things more secure, but also it's used for policing and other activities.
How does the consumer feel about this? Are they receptive?
It depends on the application. A lot of consumers are using facial recognition for things like unlocking their phone or searching through photos and sorting photos of their friends and family. I don't think customers generally have any kind of concerns about that. I think when people start to have concerns is when it's used in surveillance type applications. And in those cases, they want to know that their data is being protected.
So I clearly see the benefits, but are some consumers asking themselves this question? Is it really worth it? I see the benefits, but there are risks to my personal privacy.
Well, I think if you ask anyone who's stuck at the airport and wants to get on their plane faster, they're in favor of efficiency. I think there's many cases where, if you ask somebody about, would you like to, go to a sports event and know that you're safe and know that someone who shouldn't be there, like a terrorist, has been, tracked and found, I think they'd agree they're in favor of those types of use cases. I think the concerns usually arise when people are thinking about some kind of real-time pervasive police state around them. And that's what I think people have concerns about. And unfortunately, most countries aren't moving in that direction.
Without a doubt, this technology is growing. How do you ensure an environment where there is a responsible growth in the adaptation of this technology?
It's really important that anyone who's using the technology understands what it can and what it can't do. The technology is not perfect. It's going to have mistakes. It will make mistakes. And so anyone who's using it has to have some kind of process in place to deal with both the false positives and the false negatives. So for example, if you're using this to get into your house, you want to make sure that if it doesn't recognize you one day, you can still get into your home. If police are using this, you need to be sure that if they arrest someone, it's not just because of a facial recognition match. That said, there are so many areas where this technology has proven effective, where it can help reduce fraud, where it can help reduce crime. It makes sense to start using this, but of course it has to be done in responsible ways.
Law enforcement and the use of facial recognition technology by, let's say, police has come under scrutiny, hasn't it?
It has. There have been a number of cases where someone's been arrested primarily because they were falsely matched and a police investigation using facial recognition technology. To be clear, that should never happen. No one should ever be arrested simply because a facial recognition system says there's some kind of match. It should always be used as an investigative tool to identify, potential witnesses, potential victims, potential perpetrators of a crime. But from there should always be additional investigations.
I think it's also important to assess the potential risks. Where do you see some of the pitfalls?
There's two primary ways that technology can be used. One is to match somebody's face to their known identity. So if you go to a border crossing and you present your passport and the passport agent looks at your passport and they make sure that that passport photo matches your face, that's something a computer can do as effective, if not more effectively, than a person. Those are the use cases we shouldn't really be concerned about. The use cases we're concerned about is when you have a large database of photos and you're trying to figure out if some person you spot on the street or in a store or in some other location matches in this database. That's where you're more likely to have these false positives and false negatives. And those are the cases where we really should be paying attention to what are the policies in place, what are the procedures in place, so that if mistakes are made, if there are errors, nobody's hurt in a way that isn't easily mitigated. And that's where, again, if you're talking about a government use of the technology, you have to be really careful. You have to be careful to make sure that nobody's arrested incorrectly, that nobody's kept out of the country, that nobody's harmed in any way. But it can also be used very effectively to do things, again, like prove that somebody is who they say they are. And that's something the governments can use, for example, to make sure that they are not, giving for example, tax payments to someone who isn't who they represent themselves to be.
Where do you see this technology in the next decade?
Well, we've seen significant advances in AI over the past year, especially around generative AI, right? Where you're able to put in a little bit of information and get paragraphs of text back or images or videos created automatically. We're also going to see the inverse, right? Where AI systems are able to get a little bit of information, for example, your face or what you're wearing or what you're doing, maybe what you're carrying, and infer a significant amount from you. And that's going to enable personalized services across the board. And that's something that, in many cases, people are used to. You're used to going into a store and maybe seeing a familiar clerk who greets you by name and knows what you're looking for and can help you out. And as we move to a world where there's more automation, we're also going to have more personalization if we can have AI-enabled systems that can recognize people, that can recognize what they're trying to do, what they're interested in, and help deliver what they're expecting.
You testified before a U.S. House Committee on the oversight and the responsible use of this technology. What would you like to see from lawmakers?
The top thing lawmakers should be doing is testing the facial recognition systems that are on the market. Independent testing is the only way to know if systems are effective. And this is important for anyone buying these systems to know, are they getting something that's going to work or something that's not going to work? What you don't want to do is simply rely on the marketing of any particular company. You need to know how it's going to work in practice. So the best thing government can do is continue to invest in these types of testing programs so that you have buyers who are well informed about the capabilities of the equipment.
Facial recognition and tracking technology is definitely here to stay. It's not going anywhere and will most definitely become ubiquitous in the years ahead. But the scrutiny will continue over how to balance the benefits of these ever-reaching systems with concerns over privacy and big data falling into the wrong hands. But that's been the story with any new technology. That's all for now. I'm Marijan Ayanlar. Thanks for joining us. See you next time here on Next Up.